So is it better now at the moment? How's the situation?
At the moment, it's been a period, it's quite interesting. Gorbachev, maybe you remember, maybe not, there was a period in political life in Moscow, in Russia, in the former Soviet Union, which calls perestroika. Perestroika means recombination, reconstruction, rebuilding. So it's quite tricky term, but it was liberalization of political and cultural life in the former Soviet Union. So from Moscow arrived a couple of people to help us artists to show our artworks to public. Because in Moscow, clearly understood, people like Gorbachev, liberals,
Yes.
they clearly understood that local elites, so traditional, so backward, they will never allow artists to show their artworks. So it was done during perestroika time, forcefully from Moscow. Gorbachev said, no police involved into artist life, artists should do whatever they want. It was revolution actually at that time. Now everything returned back to Soviet times.
Yes, of course.
Practically everything. So everything coming back.
Because of the war and everything as well.
But several years it was a real freedom in the former Soviet Union. And I was one of curators, I was organizer, those young artists who's been working underground. I set up a group, I called it Former, or the Form, manifesting that we are interested only in art, in forms and shapes. We are not interested in politics at all. And our group was actually very popular. We started our existence as a group in the Estonian Museum, State Museum. It was a very impressive exhibition. And after that, we were invited to Moscow, and we exhibited in several places in Moscow. And eventually, in the very prestigious or very important gallery, and the French gallerist arrived from Paris.
French galleries arrived where? In Moscow?
To Moscow for the exhibition, for the private view.
Okay.
My exhibition. And he said to me, all of your artworks I will buy, and friend of yours, same name, Valerie, I will buy both of you, all your stuff. Wait for me tomorrow morning. Private view was Friday. On Saturday morning, we've been sitting, waiting patiently for the Paris dealer, Paris gallerist. He didn't turn up. On Monday, he didn't turn up.
Oh, no.
On Tuesday, he didn't turn up. And we went back to our Minsk, to Belarus. And I emigrated. And all in Warsaw, in Poland, listening to Russian radio, I heard the bad news that at that Saturday, when we've been waiting for the gallerist, Garig Basmajan, he was killed by the Russian mafia. It's a mafia time had started at that time. Because freedom, political freedom, economical freedom, cultural freedom, it was also a freedom for criminals. Because we had no civil society in the former Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. That's why we had no proper justice system, proper police system, and criminals started dealing with artists, with gallerists, with art, and with the economy. So it was very turbulent, very scary time, and I immigrated at that time.
But at that time, your parents were alive, yes? Your parents.
Yeah.
Did they give you any advice to...
My parents were communists. They were stupid and backwards. They called me all my life, you're an anti-Soviet person. They don't even allow my younger brother to contact me much.
Is it? Wait, your younger brother now is in Belarus, yeah?
Oh, yeah, he's a doctor actually. He's a doctor, he is in Belarus.